Hello and welcome to the Calculator Review, hosted on KKMoon.com. Today I have this device. Now this is a little difficult to describe. This is the KKMoon DIY Calculator Counter Kit with acrylic case, LCD display, multi-purpose electronic calculator, counter electronics computing by KKMoon. So that's the Amazon name for this calculator. Now, you might notice this thing looks pretty bizarre, and that is because I built this. This came from a kit, and I'm going to peel off this display cover. So yeah, this came with a board and a bunch of pieces, and I had to solder it all together, and sorry, I'm getting messages. So everything about this calculator was assembled by hand, and I have another video showing me do that. It took about 2 hours to put together. It probably would have taken less if I hadn't been missing some things I needed to work on it. So yeah, this is a pretty special calculator because I saw it go from a box of parts to what it is now. But it does have its issues. But first I want to get into functionality. First, turning it on. It's got a really nice bright display. It does have an error or a fault in it. You'll notice that you might not notice it on camera, but there's a line here that prevents things from properly displaying. So you might be able to see that the 9 here isn't fully shown, which is unfortunate, but this is a fully modular calculator, so I would be able to remove the display and put in a new one. I might get around to that eventually. There's actually a lot of things I'd like to do with this. The main issue I have, even worse than the display, are these buttons. I think they are absolutely hideous. You'll notice it turns off after 30 seconds. The buttons of this calculator are just ugly. It came in little pieces of paper that I had to cut out and place inside. I think they look terrible. What I would rather do is 3D print some new buttons, but there's going to be some issues with doing that, and I will get into that in just a little bit. So let me adjust the microphone here. So ready to go. Oh. Sorry, my trash can just randomly fell over. Oh, okay. Okay. So, first thing, the buttons on this feel amazing. They are very clicky, very responsive. Yeah, this thing can't go past, I think, 1 billion, which is kind of an issue, but it's okay. So yeah, the buttons feel fantastic. They're very, very sturdy, very strong. They're just really ugly. So yeah, as far as like basic functionality goes, so square root of 2 times 2 square root, you actually do get the proper answer of 2. And hopefully this is actually showing up on camera. The screen is backlit, which is very unusual for a calculator. In fact, you can see, here's the backlight. It's very, very bright. And before I get into additional functionality, I want to talk about the hardware. Like I said, this was fully assembled by hand. It does have one major flaw as a calculator, hardware-wise, and that is these batteries. It takes 2 CR2032 batteries. I'm guessing one is to actually light up the display and the other one does the actual calculations. The position of them is atrocious because the only way to get to these batteries is to completely disassemble this calculator. And that's very, very frustrating because if you watch my assembly video where I put this thing together, fully assembling this thing is no trivial task. It's quite difficult. So getting to these batteries is going to be a huge pain when it comes to that, and so one of the other adjustments I would like to make, I would like to 3D print a case for this that makes it easy to access the batteries, where I won't have to completely disassemble the calculator. And what's really frustrating is, I mean, they're right there, you can see them. So when they run out, they're just going to sit there and mock me. Anyway, so onto the functionality. So it comes with a manual, and like you've seen, it has your basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, square root, all that fun stuff. But then it's got this little mode button, and at first I was really confused. If you watch the other video, you'll see I had no idea what was going on, but then I actually read the manual, and this is really cool. So this has color rings for resistors. So I have a little resistor kit here. So what you do is you take a resistor that you don't, let's just pretend I don't know what this is, though it would be 22K. So what you do is type in the order of the rings. So this would be red, red, orange, gold. And did I miss one? I think I'm missing a color. So it'd be red, red. Oh, I see. Red, red, orange, none, gold. Okay, well, let's try a different one. So that was a 22K, so this will be 1K. So that'd be gold, black, red, gold. What? So, gold, black. Well, this is proving to be a lot less interesting than I thought it would be. Okay. Well, let's try yellow, or 47 ohms. That'd be yellow, red, black, gold. Yellow, red, none, black, gold. I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to try one more and see if that works. I might be just getting the colors wrong. Looks like brown, green, gold, gold. So this is supposed to be 1.5 ohms. Okay, so that was a little disappointing. Anyway, so there's another mode. It's LEDs. So I have these purple LEDs, and the way this works is we find out the working voltage. I'm sorry, not the working voltage, but the resistance required to use these. So VD is, well, so I always use 9-volt batteries when doing things. So 9 volts. The I is the working current, so that would be 3. Oh. 9, 3. Oh. Probably should have. Here we go. Okay. 9, 3. Oh. 9. There we go. Okay, so it needs apparently 3K resistance. That seems a little high. But, I don't know. Anyway, and the most exciting one for me is the hexadecimal converter. So I do a lot of stuff with hex, and the fact that this has it built in is really, really cool. So if you spending all this time explaining it, it keeps turning off. So what this does is gives you the hex value of various numbers. So 93652 would be 16DD4. Really, really useful. So I was actually planning on getting a hex calculator, and I found one online that looks really nice, and I may get it eventually, but I legitimately needed a hexadecimal calculator that would be separate from my computer, and that one was, I think, $150. This kit only cost me $15, and I got to build it. And I have a completely working hex calculator. That's freaking awesome. That is definitely the coolest feature of this calculator. So yeah, so very interesting features. I don't know what's going on with this. Maybe I'm just doing it wrong. I thought I knew what I was doing, but clearly I don't. So yeah. Overall, I really enjoyed putting this calculator together. It was quite a pain in some parts, especially the acrylic, because I had to peel off all of the plastic. In the assembly, parts of it don't quite fit perfectly together, and this plate here actually bows inward very slightly. It probably doesn't show up on camera, but it's definitely noticeable. So yeah, I would much rather have a 3D printed case that was a lot better to use. I might keep the bottom piece so that way I can still see inside of it. I think that's really cool. In fact, I might look for a transparent 3D printed filament, because I really like being able to see the insides of this, and when I go to take the pictures for the website, all of this is going to be visible. I won't have to disassemble it for that, but I have to disassemble it for the batteries. Very, very strange. Anyway, so that is the KKMoon DIY calculator counter kit. If you're interested in learning how to solder or just electronics in general, I highly recommend this. For $15, it's a pretty solid kit, and it's sturdy too. Like this thing's built like a tank. I mean, it's held together by bolts and very thick acrylic, and the PCB board inside of it is incredibly strong. It's just made of really good quality materials, and for $15, it's definitely worth it. So yeah, I will also be uploading the construction video. I might edit it, I don't know. It's 2 hours long, so a lot of it is me trying to find things and trying to figure things out and struggling with a soldering iron. So if you're interested in watching that, feel free to. If not, well, here's the end result. I'm very, very happy with it. This is a very cool thing to add to my collection. And there will probably be some more videos on this in the future when I get around to doing the upgrades that I plan on doing. So, I don't know when I'll get around to that, but I hope you enjoyed this. If you end up getting this kit, please let me know. I'd love to know what other people think about it and the issues they had, maybe some solutions they might have come up with. Whatever. This is something I'd really like to talk to other people about, because it's a very cool kit. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye!